Hey everybody, Rich Malika here. I just want to share a little bit with you today based on some of the stuff that people are doing to take advantage of the coronavirus situation. There are people fighting people over supplies, beating them up in the middle of shopping malls. There are people that are conning people out of money and people that are selling fake cures for the coronavirus right now online for large sums of money. And that's infuriating. All of us have the ability to shift into that gear. When we get scared, when we get pressed, or just when we see something we want, all of us have the capacity to move in manipulative, vindictive, selfish, self-centered ways. And as a person who struggled with addiction, maybe I get that a little more experientially than people who haven't. But know that all of us, every minute of every day, have the ability to make a choice to either live in a God-centered, community-centered way, or to move based on ego and self. And there's a story that I thought was pretty cool that relates directly to this. There's a man named Viktor Frankl who wrote an amazing book called God's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl was in a concentration camp during World War II and watched massive numbers of people every day die and get tortured. He was tortured. He almost died. That was his reality. And he was a therapist. And he took his mind that was, kind of framed in that way of looking at meaning, looking at what drives us, what moves us, how do we live, how do we function. When he left that horrific experience, he started to ask those questions, to interpret what he had gone through and where he was going and who he was and why he was. And one day he's walking up a path with a friend who had also experienced the camps. And the friend started walking right up through these beautiful flowers, destroying them. And it hurt Frankl. It emotionally hit him, what are you doing? Because he saw something living and something beautiful being destroyed. And his friend turned to him and said, after what I've been through, nobody can tell me anything about how I should or shouldn't live. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm entitled to get whatever I want. Two different people experience the same thing. One of them walks away saying, I want what I want, and I don't care what it does to you, or what it does to this, or what it does to them. It's all about me. And all of us, in our pain, in our fear, in our suffering, can become carnivorous, can become animalistic, and can destroy our own empathy. And then can look back on it later and say things to justify it or things to minimize it or rationalize it or whatever. But it's still a choice. The other choice, and Frankl would be the first person to tell you he was not perfect. He moved in selfishness. He moved in self-centeredness. He did things in the camp that he was ashamed of to survive. But at the end of his experience, he didn't want to see a flower hurt. And when you in the Bible it describes Jesus Christ, who I look to as my savior, my spiritual ideal, the being I want to be conformed into, the God who is love. It says that he wouldn't break the bruised reed. He would look at a reed, which is a plant or flower, correct me in the comments, and wouldn't want to see it destroyed. He felt for it. It says God knows every bird, every hair on your head. We can encounter pain. We can encounter horror. And we can either become embittered and unempathetic and entirely self-centered from that experience, or through choice of will, we can turn that pain over to God, over to love, over to the hope of it being transformed into something meaningful, so that we can become servants to other people who are wounded, so that we can become wounded healers. I'm not giving you 20 steps to that. I'm not giving you the easy path to that. That's personal. The decision is what I want to submit to you today. The decision to say, I want to become more like love. I want to become hope. I want to become community. I want to become part of the solution for us, rather than I want to claw anything that comes in the way of my getting what I want. That's a decision. For me, that decision came and was reinforced through turning it over to God and saying, now what? And every day, that decision being another set of decisions, another set of prayers, another set of watching people who have been conformed into this. Help me to conform into something that I already am meant to be. An emissary of love, an emissary of hope and healing, a wounded healer. So I just want to submit that to you today. We're going to have one choice and a million choices to turn ourselves into either something that makes this world a more beautiful, healing place, or we're going to become part of a disease that's worse than the disease that we're afraid of. So I just want to close this in prayer and say, Creator God, I offer my brothers, my sisters, my non-binary family to you today, and I pray for all of us that we make hard choices to love deeper, to have faith and not fear, to reach out in whatever capacity we can right now, rather than turning ourselves inward into an isolated or a self-centered person. Bless us today that in the midst of anything that we encounter, it can only be more fuel for us to become your love, your light, your ambassadors, your servants, your healers in this place. We offer ourselves to you for your purpose. In your name, amen. I love you guys. I love you guys, and I'm praying for you guys. Thank you very much.